All right, so last night I got some .3 from my neighbor, and we put some fluid in here, and it seems to be holding fluid. So I had a little bit of pressure. I kind of pushed on the clutch a little bit. Seemed like we had some pressure, so I thought I was going to put it into try to put it in gear with it running. Went to start it, forgot it was in gear. Jeep lurched a little bit, but then all of a sudden I had no power, no headlights, nothing, no power to anything. So I believe, it's kind of hard to see down in here, but I believe this guy right here, which is this crappy ass wire right here, might have failed. Now this morning I tapped it and I have headlights and blinkers again, so I'm really thinking that's either bad or it's because of this wire. So that was the one thing I found. So I was going to push the Jeep inside the fence where I cleaned up, and it won't roll. The previous owner said that he did the brakes. I know the parking brake does not engage. It's so tight that you can't even push down on the pedal. So I'm believing that he adjusted the rear brakes out so far that they're basically stuck to the drums. So today I'm going to jack up the back of the Jeep so I can adjust those correctly. I am going to repair these wires and see if I can get a better connection. And I did order a new they call it a solenoid. It's basically like a starter solenoid. It feeds all the power to the Jeep. So I've seen a lot of people complain in the different groups saying, oh, my Jeep won't start, I have no power. 9 times out of 10 it's that guy. There are some fusible links that come off that can go bad, but 9 times out of 10 it's that guy down there. And looking at it, it's pretty cruddy looking and dirty and corroded. And just looking at these wires, you kind of guess that they probably has never been changed. Now, Amazon had them for about $27, just under $30. Rock Auto had them for $40. A couple of the Jeep's places had them from up to $75. I ended up getting it from AutoZone, home delivery. It's supposed to be here tomorrow. It was $55 with tax, free shipping. So, and that was the soonest one I could get. Amazon was like 2 weeks away, and everybody else was like a week or so away. So we're gonna go with that. I wish they had an updated version of that, that we could get rid of it, because it's basically like a set of points down inside there, and they basically fuse shut. I've tapped on it. I might try to tap on it again once I do the battery. We'll have to see what I can do. Also, I'm going to have to come up with some sort of way to secure the battery, because right now it's 2 very flimsy bungee cords. So we're going to have to do that too. So first up, we are going to do the brakes so that this thing rolls. Then we'll do the wires, and maybe we'll try to get it started again today. All right, so got the wheels chalked in the front. Got the Jeep up, sitting on jack stands. I got enough room under each wheel that it should be enough to rock them. And it is in neutral, and I cannot budge the wheel in any direction. Now, regretfully, there is a Black Widow in here somewhere, because since I washed this, he has come back and put his nest everywhere. So what we're gonna do is adjust this back so we can get some play in the wheel, and then go from there. I'll also check this tag and see what gear ratio this is. I'm not expecting a whole lot of goodness. Well, they welded this bracket on. Yeah, they relocated this higher, and this is an aftermarket Panhard bar, which this is spring, so I don't know why you need it, but they did put taller bump stops on. So all right, so let's get in here and see what we got. All right, so I went and got my brake tool because the screwdriver was making contact. So if you're tightening the drum, you're going to pull the wheel down. So this motion. What we want to do is this motion to loosen it back up. Because like I said, it doesn't budge. I can't get it to even wiggle. So definitely way too tight. Well, I just noticed that's a brand new cable on the parking brake. And that thing looks like it's run all the way out. So I'm gonna go over there and loosen up that first to see if maybe when they put the new cable in, they over tighten this. Because that would make a lot more sense, because man, this thing is a bear to get into right now. I think they over tighten this because there's like no play here, and the pedal is all the way up. So there's no even stepping it. So I think they have this too tight. I'm gonna back this nut off. I gotta go find I think that looks like a 9/16 and a 13 maybe. I'm gonna go grab a couple of wrenches real quick. Yeah, I just noticed this cable was new, but there is no play whatsoever. I wonder if they just over tightened them. That's why these brakes are seized up. Oops. All right, so I backed that all the way off, and this wheel is still jammed. Let's see if we have any movement on this side. Oh, we have a little bit of movement on this side. Okay, so that means that this brake is a little looser than the driver's side. All right, phew. So now we're gonna have to adjust the spinner on the drum until they're just snug. These are way too tight. Yeah, it takes both hands just to get this wheel to spin at all. That shows you how tight everything is. Jeep's in neutral, so this wheel should spin. This other one doesn't do anything. So what I got to do is get the adjuster out of the way so I can back the adjustment star thing out, or back in, so that it's out of the way. So I need to go find a little screwdriver that will fit between the tool and the thing. So I got myself a little tiny screwdriver. I'm gonna use this tool, and I'm gonna do the passenger side first since it's already loose. Hopefully it'll be a little easier. All right, so the idea behind this is there's a kind of a arm that comes across, and there's a adjuster that's got teeth on it, and that arm, when you step on the brakes or back up, it ratchets the little star down until it makes the brake pads touch the drum. So what I've got to do is you've got to push that arm away from the star so that you can turn it in the opposite direction, because it's not going to want to do that. I've got a couple of turns on it, and it's a little better. Not much, but it's a little better. So I think maybe 3 or 4 more turns and we should be a little better on this side. So we'll see. I'll keep at it for a second. All right, so let's shit, my bad hand. All right, so I can now turn the wheel on this side. That one's still not gonna turn. So this one is adjusted out far enough that it turns. I'll probably end up taking the wheels off and checking these drums, because if he drove it like that, there's no telling what the pads or drums look like on the inside. Yeah, they are new drums. You can see they're shiny up in there. Just got the little bit of surface rust on the outside. So right now I just want to be able to roll it. So one step at a time. So next thing, we're going to crawl on the other side and get that one adjusted. All right. So usually what I do is I try to figure out where the star is with this little wrench, and then on one side or the other you should be able to feel something catch the end of the screwdriver. And when you do, if you push on it, it should spring back just a little bit. Now this one, I am not feeling. Oh, there it was. Found it. Okay. So yeah. So usually I get this in here and I can get it wedged against that, and it will usually stay there. See, there it goes. You can see it's pushing back now. So that's where it needs to be. So usually now I can hold that with one hand and turn the wheel with the other hand, and there's just enough room for that to fit in there. Okay, so I have went and got this other tool and I bent it, trying to force it in there. So now I got myself a little screwdriver that's thin, but I don't know if they've backed this thing out so now it's just stuck, but it doesn't seem like it wants to turn at all. Yeah, I can't really do anything. All right, worst case scenario, we grind off the pegs here and pull the drum off and have everything explode in our face. But yeah, that would be my next choice, is to go ahead and just grind these off so I can get this brake drum out of there and find out what the hell they did on this side. So that'll be later today if I get into that, because it's already starting to get warm. All right, so like I said, passenger side turns now. That's good. Driver's side is still frozen. I'm having a hell of a time on the driver's side figuring out why I can't get the adjusting arm to get away from the star so that I can back that out of there. Tried a couple of different options. You can see the star right there. I don't know if I can zoom in enough to see. Yeah, no, it's pretty dark in there. So I just got to figure out why I'm not being able to reach the adjusting arm to push it out of the way. It's either because this brake isn't in the right position, or the adjuster is frozen and it just doesn't want to move, because it seems like it only wants to turn a little bit in one direction and then it doesn't do anything. Okay, so after a lot of fussing and fighting and whatnot, I had this long screwdriver in there and I was just kind of moving stuff around and something popped, and then I was all of a sudden able to reach in straight in right at this edge here, and I could feel the keeper move, and after a few turns I can now turn the wheel. Holy crap. So I don't know if because this was wedged in there and they tried to drive on it, maybe everything shifted. So I'm definitely going to have to check the brakes, because I don't know what he did to it. I do have the parking brake just hanging there, sort of not tight but not loose, just enough so it don't fall apart. But at least now it rolls. So I'll be able to roll it into the back tonight, hopefully. So the next thing I'm going to do is take a short break to get out of the sun, because it's about noon and there's really no shade except for under the Jeep. But at least that part's done. What a pain in the ass. Alright, so I'll pick up all my tools here. Yeah, at some point I will pull the wheels off in the back here and check the brakes to make sure they're not ruined. And then I'll adjust everything correctly. Then I will adjust the parking brake so it works. And we'll go from there. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do when I come back is those wires on the battery terminal. And then we'll see about banging on that solenoid. Maybe we can get this thing started again. Alright, it's been a little while. We got some shade, not much, but a little bit, and it's not as hot. So I'm going to disconnect the battery here. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this terminal positive. We're going to clean up these ends, put some new ends on them. I'm going to try to get down there onto that solenoid and wrap on it a little bit and see if we can get it freed up. And see if we can get this thing to get some power. Just trying to look to see where all these wires go. Some of them should come from the alternator. So yeah, they put a new ground cable, but they didn't put any new power cables on here. So we'll get this terminal cleaned up, and so we're gonna have to do something about this wonderful set of bungee cords I got here. All right, so let me get a wrench and get on that. All right, so we got the old terminal off. I was going to reuse it, but it looks like they painted it and it's kind of all messed up. You can see that the terminal ends are messed up, or the cable ends are messed up. So we're going to cut those back. I've got some terminal ends. I've got this brass connector. We're going to use that instead. And eventually I will have to figure out what to do for the tie down. I think I have a tie down somewhere. We'll have to see if it will work for this. So first thing I'm going to do is get these wires cut back, and then hopefully get some fresh wire, and then we'll put some ends on. Alright, so we cut the wire back. We put 2 new ends on there, so that should be nice. I whacked on that quite a bit with a hammer. See if we could free up that sticky piece. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's pretty rusted and corroded. Luckily, it's just this one screw here that holds it on. I don't know if you can see down in there. There's a screw right there past my finger. So we'll be able to take that off, swap in the new one, and it shouldn't be too bad. I mean, it's only battery cable and it's right there, so it should be fairly easy to get to. So that'll come in tomorrow, but let's get the battery back in. I took the battery out just so that these were long enough I could lay them down here in the tray to crimp them instead of trying to do it on the top of the battery. So let's put the battery back in. Let's hook this up and see what we have. All right, so we got that back on, we got the ground back on, we got the charger back on, we got all our cables out of the way, got everything clear. So first things, this could be the reason why we were having a weird charging state. Okay, so I got sort of lights. No, maybe I don't. See what we got. Yeah, there's no lights again, so I'm pretty sure that thing's bad. because we should have power. Let's see, I know this is in neutral. Yep, it's still dead. Okay. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure this thing is shot. I did clean up both these cables, so this is all clean and fresh. But I'm pretty sure I tapped on it, so pretty sure it's shot. It was weird this morning when I got up, the hazards were blinking because I had left them on, but they were really, really dim, even though the battery was charged. The clock is working, so we have a little bit of power, but not a whole bunch. Alright, well, I'm gonna get it off the jack stands and push it behind the gate so I can put my car back in the driveway like it's supposed to be. Alright, yeah, that rolls really easy. Didn't even put me out of breath. Alright, plug the charger back in. It says it's charging, so we're gonna let that be. Like I said, I don't know how good this battery is. It's 2021, so as long as it's been charging, it should be okay. Yeah. So now we can close this up. These half doors don't really fit with this top, but they'll fit well enough to keep the damn cat out, because I think it peed in here last night. Either that or somebody was marking their territory, because it had a little odor this morning. So we're going to put the half door on and then close everything up and get the van back in the driveway. Well, they're not perfect, but it's enough to keep the cat out of it. And I got two of those. I ended up using, these are kind of really messed up. I had some of this silky oaky. It's for airsoft rifles and whatnot. That's a silicone based thing. Really helped on this side because this one was really messed up. The zippers broke, but it zipped up to here, which is fine. But that should keep the cat out of it now, so anything's better than nothing. All right, well, tomorrow we'll get that part in. I don't know when. It's coming through AutoZone, so not sure how that will be delivered. And we'll get that part swapped in. I'll also kind of play around with the clutch a little bit. Shit, door fell over. Maybe I'll go underneath and try to bleed it down some, because it hasn't gone down, even though I pumped and pumped. So either one of two things: either the diaphragm up here is bad, so it's not pumping anything, so it won't bleed. I did order a new one. It should be here, I think tomorrow or Monday, I can't remember. So maybe that's all that is. It'll be a simple fix, and we'll get it restarted with that part, because clearly we just don't have any juice to the starter. You know what, before I finish up, I'm going to crawl under there real quick and wrap the starter, make sure it's just not hung. I don't think it is. I'm not hearing any clicking, but we'll double check. Yeah, I gave it a good few whacks and I got nothing. But if that's bad, that could explain why the alternator doesn't look like it's charging, because it isn't feeding electricity right. So yeah, we will have to test that out. It's pretty rusty too, so I'll have to clean all the connectors. All right, when I do the front main seal, if it's still not charging, I'm going to test the alternator once I get it running again. But if I take this belt and shit off, which I'm going to put a new belt on, be easy to put an alternator into. So like I said, I just want this thing good enough so I can sell it especially since it seems like it runs really good. All right, well, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.